Hi Year 9, this video intends to outline the instructions and key details for the Year 9 Economics Dev that many of you will be completing during remote learning this week. So the dev will be completed via a Google form. So many of you are familiar with this technology, you've completed it in class. It's essentially a digital test or a digital quiz. So when you are given the link to the dev task, which may occur in your Compass lesson plan, your teacher may just pop it in there. They might send it to you via an email, or it might be listed in your Google Classroom if that's been set up prior to remote learning. When they give you the link, all you need to do is click on that link and it will take you to the dev task, which is only one question. We're trying not to give you too much work during remote learning. We don't want to overwhelm you with assessments. It's only one question, but it's a specific type of question, which is an extended response, which was where we find that most students tend to lose marks when they know the content, but they don't expand upon their answer really. So it's the difference between getting 4 out of 4 and 2 out of 4 is often 2 keywords or 2 key sentences or 2 examples or 2 statistics. So we're trying to get you to practice your extended response questions because that's what you'll need to do in the CAT. So the CAT is going to be a test. It was probably going to be completed in class. Hopefully, when this video comes out, that's not going to be too dated and you do complete it on site. If needed, though, we will complete it digitally during remote learning using a similar sort of technology. So you'll be completing it in another Google form. Similar to this, your teacher will give you a link or put it in Google Classroom. You just need to click on it, complete the questions below, press submit, and you're done. So the instructions for the dev are listed here. So in this assessment, students are required to complete an extended response. And this is the following question. This is the question for your extended response. Analyze the possible impact of the Victorian government's travel voucher scheme on living standards in Victoria. In your answer, refer to the circular flow model. And that question is worth 4 marks. In the space provided below, you're going to need to do a couple of things. You're going to need to identify the key instructional terms in this question that you need to understand to create a strong response. If you don't understand the question, you cannot effectively answer the question. So that's there in question 1. So identify the key instructional term in the extended response question. So we've given you a couple of options. Which one do you think is the most important term in terms of how do I answer this question? So the instructional term, another word for that might be an action term, an action verb. What are you doing in this question? And then in 1B, outline what this question is asking you to include in your extended response. So now that I know what the question is, now I know what the key instructional term is in this question, here's what I actually need to answer in my response. It's important to consider mark allocation for the question. Again, a lot of students from Year 7 to Year 12 put in the same amount of effort and the same amount of detail in a 1-mark question versus a 6-mark question. So it's important to put in a bit more detail, a bit more depth when you're being presented with a 4-mark question. Put your teacher hat on. How do you think these marks are going to be allocated? So for a 4-mark question, maybe I'll get 1 mark for my definition and 1 mark for referencing this thing. So think about that before you construct your answer, not during or after. Well, both. Before, during, and after. Anyway, complete the extended response in approximately 10 minutes. Before submitting the dev, complete the self-assessment to reflect on your strengths, areas for improvement, and strategies to improve prior to the CAT. So that'll be another 5 minutes we'll provide. Again, you don't have the whole lesson to work on this because that's not going to set you up very well for the CAT if you're spending 50 minutes on one question. Try and complete this one question, this extended response, in 10 minutes. And then at the end, you'll see we've given you in question 3 a self-assessment. So again, we want you guys to think about your thinking. Metacognition is a good way to develop your knowledge. So what, in your opinion, be honest, should you receive for your response? And then tell us why, basically. Explain your reasoning. And that'll hopefully get you thinking about, okay, I did this really well, so I'm going to do that in the CAT. I probably didn't do this as well as I could have in the time given, so I'm going to fix that before the CAT. So 4-mark question, put your response here, complete the self-assessment, that's another 5 minutes. So in total, you should probably be spending 15 minutes on it. You might have a few extra minutes to deal with technical difficulties or reading through the Compass lesson plan, the instructions, or watching this video even. And then all you need to do is press submit at the bottom. You should get a message afterwards. I'll show you what it looks like actually. So I'm just going to pick one at random. I'm going to go for living standards. I'm copying Mr. Tapley's answers because he's not very clever. Go for the letter J. I'm thinking I got a 4 out of 4 because I have high self-esteem. I'm going to go for JT this time. Now I'm going to press submit. And this is the message you're going to get. So if you don't see this screen, that means you haven't finished the dev. You need to submit this and then see the screen. Don't just close out of the window. You won't actually give your teacher your answers. Once you finish that, because it's going to take you roughly, again, 10 to 15 minutes for the dev, 5 minutes to read the instructions, whatever, you should still have 30 minutes left in this lesson. Use that time to revise. Use that time to revise before your CAT. You should know what is going to be on the CAT. It's what we've covered in economics so far, the key topics, living standards, circular flow, imports and exports, globalization, global supply chain. I could go on. So you should be spending a bit of time revising questions there, revising content. You should talk to your teacher, ask them questions. If you have time, maybe talk to one of your mates, do a bit of peer assessment. So what did you do for your extended response? What do you think we can both improve on before the CAT? So that's how you should be spending your time in this lesson today, working on your dev task. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, please let your teacher know. If you have any technical difficulties, probably the most common one is not being logged in to your GBC email. So if I click on that, I know that I'm in my GBC email, and that means I can access the dev. If you're getting messages like you cannot access this, you don't have permission, make sure that Google hasn't automatically logged you into like your Gmail account or something. Another common one might be your internet cutting out, something like that. Again, just let your teacher know any questions, technical difficulties or concerns. We can't help you unless you tell us there is a problem. We want to help you. So please let us know if you're feeling a bit stressed or overwhelmed with the dev or with the CAT or with remote learning in general. And we'll see what we can do to support you during this interesting week. Best of luck with your dev and with your CAT, guys. Thank you for listening.